Good evening. How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to Sunday night, April 20th, 2025. Hope everyone had a good weekend. 9:10 p.m. California time. Latest activity shows a 1.2 into the Southern California area. We'll get to the earthquake activity here in just a little bit. I want to chat about here the Mount Spur, a volcano west of Anchorage, Alaska. Getting a few comments asking what's going on with it. So the latest information here, as of today, was put out, today's date. The unrest, right? They're calling it unrest due to elevated volcanic activity, right? Earthquakes, steam up at the summit area. So they got continued steaming from the summit crater. And although unrest continues, there has been no, major changes here in terms of, that we're going to see an eruption anytime soon. That would, obviously, we would see elevated GPS there, inflation at the summit, elevated increase in earthquake activity. That would, begin to move. That'd be a sign of magma moving closer to the surface here with that elevated earthquake activity. So yeah, we would definitely, we would see the result, maybe even harmonic tremor out here. This is the seismograph station there around the Mount Spur area, with a number of smaller microquakes there across the area of Mount Spur in Alaska. But right now, just kind of watching and waiting, seeing what happens here with this volcano. Here's the inflation chart. As you can see throughout the years here, vertical displacement obviously going up. Let's see if we can find, this is the yearly chart. Majority of these are just showing the past year of activity, but either way, I think we're probably getting close to seeing some type of eruption up there. Now, there's the latest webcam imagery. I don't know, is it still light up there in Alaska right now? We'll take a look here at the video. Occasional steam, right? See that? Up at the summit crater area, but no signs of any imminent eruption yet from that volcano up in Alaska, which sits just to the west here of Anchorage. Over in this area, USGS really not showing all the earthquake activity that's happening around that region, but there's a bunch of little small ones, but nothing that would lead me to believe that we're going to see an eruption here anytime soon. 3.2 up in Washington this morning. Nothing major going on since then. Northern California here. We got one earthquake on the Bartlett Springs Fault. What a 1.4. Nothing big. A couple other smaller quakes there across Northern California as well. San Francisco, just quiet as can be. Eerily quiet, I would say. Still seeing some movement across western Nevada, and some activity, some smaller activity here on the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault. Just about down here to the Parkfield section. Pretty close here. I believe this one, let's see if I can get this to tune in. It looks awfully close. It may be right at the that section there where the creeping section and where the part of the San Andreas Fault begins to lock up. So that's going to be this little earthquake right here earlier this evening, a little 0.6. Now the Parkfield segment of the San Andreas Fault has regular intervals of large quakes every 20 to 22 years, 6.0 or above, and they pretty much come like clockwork. Last one was back in 2004, so here we are, 2025, right? Do the math. We're looking at a little bit of time here. 21 years, almost coming up on that 22-year time period. But again, between 20 and 22 years, so we could be seeing a 6-pointer on that soon. For Southern California out here, some movement. Look over here across the Brawley seismic zone. Got a little bit of swarming going on here again. Nothing big, but 7 earthquakes of some small magnitudes up to a 2.2. The last one here just before 8 o'clock, a little 1.7. Just keeping an eye on that, right? It's been quite active out here across Southern California recently. Getting some strain quakes out here off the San Andreas Fault as well. Now, someone also asked me Why do I state that pressure is increasing when there's earthquake activity, right? Earthquake activity is a sign of stress or strain release, right? If you think about it, it's built up strain, and the earthquake adjusts accordingly and releases that strain. Well, that could just be locally here, but when we see an elevated event, right, far as a lot of earthquake activity around the region, that's a sign of increasing strain out here, right, causing those further earthquakes in the multitudes here. So it's not everyone just relieving stress at once. It's just a sign of increasing pressure against the plate boundary, right? And these other secondary, third fault systems there obviously can show the strain events build up. And that's what's been happening out here. So that's what I mean when I say that things are increasing out here. Pressure is increasing, right? And it shows with a lot of earthquake activity out here. Let's see if we got anything above 2.5. One earthquake here. That's just off the San Andreas Fault here, near Mountain View Acres. 5 miles deep for that 2.6. Again, it's just right off. Getting some earthquake activity away from the plate boundary, but still in that strain zone where we expect, a lot of the tension and the pressure to transfer off of the main plate boundary to some of these other fault systems there. And it's showing for sure. Pretty good cluster right around the Riverside area, northern end of the San Jacinto fault zone. Very dynamic spider web complex of faults in that area. Also a little, aftershock sequences here kicking up in the last hour around Julian. Latest, let's see what we got for the largest. So far, the largest is going to be a 5.2 here in the last week. Total tally of about 302 earthquakes in the last week in this area alone. So that's a decent number. Most of those, obviously, some aftershock activity from the 5.2. A little total tally here in Southern California for the last week of all magnitude, 622. So half of those go to the sequence of events down there around Julian. But continue to keep an eye on it. Quite active out here across Los Angeles, stretching over towards the Malibu Coast Fault. There's a 2.1 just outside of Malibu, and another 1.8 this morning. But noticing a little bit broader view of earthquake activity. Also some just off the Elsinore Fault, the northern end. And we chatted about this here a little bit, that if this fault system here were to have a full rupture, we would see a 7.5, and that goes directly into the deeper heart of Los Angeles there. So still keep an eye on things out here, folks. The strain is showing. Nevada's still seeing some activity out there as well. Let's see what we got. Tremor activity. Cascadia tremor. Let's see where we at. Go over here and bring up the tremor map this evening. 0. That is 0 epicenters of tremor. Nothing going on there, at least as far as anything being reported across the Cascadia for now. Yellowstone National Park. Up here, super volcano. There's a couple earthquakes around the area above 2.5. Let's go double check this here real quick, see what we have. Where am I? There we go. And by the way, I'd like to point this out. Maybe I point it out too much, but for the new people that may not watch the videos here as often, that blue thick line is not magma intrusion. Please do not believe some of the folks here that are, it depends on where you're seeing them. Not going to mention names, but a lot of people claim that's magma intrusion. It's kind of funny, right? Happens every afternoon. Why would magma intrusion pick a certain time in the afternoon to occur, right? Like clockwork. That's wind. That is wind that stirs up out there every afternoon. That's the cold, hard truth, folks. No doom and gloom here on the charts. A couple of those earthquakes there that were showing up on the USGS map, 2.9, 2.6, is showing up over here on quite a few of the seismograph stations, but that's really about it. There's really not a whole lot as far as local activity going on across Yellowstone. And, at least they're reporting that 2.6 and the 2.9 that occurred here today. Oil fields, gas and oil fields out there in Texas, outside of Pecos, Texas there. Some ones in even a 3.1. Nothing big. This is actually a little light for daily activity out there, believe it or not. New Madrid seismic zone, 1 earthquake from last night. So nothing really new to report there across that region. Taking a look here at the global view, 3.4 down here, fairly deep South Island area. Not showing up on the New Zealand station there, but that's the station is positioned a little bit further up north of Christchurch there, which is up here. So got a 3.4 South Island. Looks like the southern end there of the Alpine Fault. So keep an eye on that. Some typical movement here across Vanuatu, and got a pretty good cluster going on there just west of Papua New Guinea. 5.4, 4, 3, 2s. Bunch of earthquakes in here recently. You guys remember that swarm of activity here around the Philippines in the last couple days? That was up here. Just a lot of movement happening within this zone here. So we may want to watch this area for some larger movement. Certain regions here around Manila eastward along that plate boundary, the Philippines trench there, has not had any earthquake activity during all of this craziness going on. So watch this region here. It's pretty absent of earthquake activity here in the last 7 days. Nankai Trough, of course, got to watch that. Let's see what we got for today's activity up here. 1 earthquake into the Japan Trench just underneath Tokyo here. 4.5 at 54 miles deep. Some interesting activity here, opposite sides of the plate boundary out in the Indian Ocean. 4.8 and 4.9. Fairly hefty amount up here across the Himalayas and Myanmar area. Nothing big for now, just some 3s and a couple 4s out there. Eastern Afghanistan showing some activity as well. Out in the Mediterranean, some older activity, but a couple newer 2s out there. The Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. Really not seeing a whole lot of activity out there in the Atlantic for now. Hawaii. Let's chat about Hawaii here real quick. Look at this. Let me go back over here to their update page and refresh it. Make sure I got the most recent information here. Let's check out the webcams first before I speak on this. Still a lot of volcanic gases out there. No signs of an eruption yet. But this time period here that we're seeing since our pause in the eruption is fairly lengthy. Look at that. Almost double what it normally would be. So this is a sign here that there's some blockage going on across mainly, I believe it's going to be both the vents there. North and south vent there at Kilauea Volcano, and that that may be an issue. We may see more of an explosive type event with some huge fountaining going on if it does break through, or we could see maybe some migration going on to maybe another area of the Kilauea Volcano, the lava lake up there. So it's, look at that. That's double what we had seen previous here. So here's the deflation event during the eruption, and then it takes a couple days for buildup in our last one. Fairly short-lived eruption, but now we're going back up and up here since the 9th, and that's a fairly lengthy amount of time and a lengthy, steady inflation there on the chart. And it looks as though this most recent one is one of the more longer durations here since we've had this rinse and repeat cycle that began back in January of this year. So watch for that. That's definitely interesting there. Let's see what these guys are talking about as far as what they believe. Let's see, this was put out earlier at noon. Let's see. I just want a simple update. There we go. Actually, this was put out at 9:15 a.m. So it looks like there was a short-lived eruption from the south vent. Very small fountaining going on, though. But on the previous message that occurred at 12 around noontime, following this one, it showed that the eruption has paused again. So just a very short-lived eruption there across Kilauea Volcano this morning. The current eruption has not been characterized by episodic fountaining, not seen in any of the other eruptions since 2020. That's this rinse and repeat cycle that we're seeing. Yeah, just got to watch this and see what happens. I think, like I say, this could, continue to come from the north and south vents over there. But who's to say that this, may not be a decent blockage down below with some type of other migration around the area. We'll have to watch that and see how this plays out. I wouldn't. If it's going to go, it's going to go soon because that inflation chart is quite high. $10 years. Don't really need that. That's the yearly chart. But all right, we'll check back on that early in the morning, see if anything's changed there as far as the eruption goes. A little small 0.8, not an 8 magnitude, but a 0.8. That's down here across Southern California, outside of Julian right now. A little 0.9 actually. 0.8, 0.9. Either way, things are starting to light up out here a little bit in the southern portion of the state. See here if there's anything else major going on here. I don't see it. Let's go ahead and check out space weather activity. I know a lot of folks been chatting about this massive coronal hole number 34 here, and no doubt that's a decent coronal hole, and that's one of the more bigger ones that I've seen in quite a while. I wish it was a little bit further up north here, more center disk of the sun. That way we're guaranteed to get a good shot of this high-speed solar wind stream. But we'll see what happens. They are forecasting what looks like a G2 class storm here over the next couple nights. Not tonight, but it looks like it may begin here on the 22nd. This is UTC time, 2100. So that may not even be tomorrow night. That's going to be, we'll have to check back on the dates here, but not anytime soon. That's if it does hit us and provides us with a decent shot there of that high-speed solar wind stream. Again, G2 class storms, those are fairly decent if they take place. As far as flaring activity goes, let's take a look. Got some newer imagery here, it looks like. A couple new sunspots down there on the southeastern limb of the sun, and a massive coverage area up to the northeast, but not a whole lot of complexity within that sunspot. So right now, man, a lot of these have just, they don't want anything to do with each other. They just separate and just die off here. So not really impressed with anything I'm seeing out here right now on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Maybe this area, and we'll have to see what's back behind that. There's definitely another area back there. So we'll catch that there in the coming days. But as far as the flare potential at these other sunspots that are currently facing us, I don't see a whole lot of promising solar flares there. Maybe a C flare, but that's about it. Continued severe weather risk overnight, it looks like, here across Memphis area, Springfield, Illinois. Got a little bit of tornado, wind, and some hail threats out there. Nothing major here near term. The long-term severe weather models out here still showing some favorable conditions here for severe weather. This here is the week 1, April 20th to the 27th. Got some moisture returning back here to western Texas. I know it's quite dry out there, so they could probably use the rain. Week 2 here looks very promising for a return to severe weather. all across your traditional tornado alley region. That includes southern Nebraska southward into Texas. So watch for that. It's the 27th to the 4th of May. And following that, looks to be a decent shot there of some further severe weather concerns as we head into the first and the second week of May. So these models have been staying pretty consistent with some type of pattern set up out there for severe weather. All right, folks. I made it through another weekend here. Hopefully, this week comes in fairly decent. I was kind of waiting to hear some earthquake bells going off for a major earthquake somewhere around the planet on Easter or 420, right? Whichever, or both the dates. Those are two dates that kind of stand out, right? Easter and 420. But no big earthquake activity yet. It's still early, though, so I better not speak too soon. I do have a tendency to speak things into existence, so I better not do that. Some people even call me the earthquake whisperer. I don't know if I'd go that far or not. Anyway, yeah, I better be quiet here just in case. Still got a couple hours left. But yeah, what I'm saying around these big dates is that earthquakes tend to happen around certain dates, like Good Friday earthquake. There's been Easter earthquakes before, New Year's Day earthquake, Christmas earthquakes. It seems to happen on some big events, big dates. So nothing yet. We'll catch you guys back out here in the morning for the Monday morning update. Have a good one, folks, and make sure you guys download that MyShake Early Alert Notification app. I've got nothing to do with it, but it's a neat little app to download on your phone. It lets you know when there's a big earthquake in your area. It normally gives people about a 10 to 20 second notification before shaking is being felt. And that may not seem like a lot, but that is a lot to maybe get your family together real quick and head somewhere safe before some strong shaking, is felt in your area. So it is available for California, Oregon, and Washington. After that, I don't know how many other states have it, but the main areas out here, got to have it on your phone. All right, have a good night, folks. Stay safe out there. See you guys back out here in the morning.